All right, and I think we're live.
Yay!
Hi, so thank you for
Hi.
joining me today. And yeah, actually, I'm quite excited to talk to you. It's been a while I haven't seen you, and loads have happened since. Obviously, you
Mhm.
just launched a movie. That's super exciting. But
Yeah.
maybe before we jump into that, it would be cool to know a little bit about you, Teresa, and kind of like when you started longboarding. What was your first like inspiration for it? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wow. I started longboarding really in, I guess, 2013, around then. And I really started it because I'd been like snowboarding and surfing, and I just was back in London and I really missed being on a board. So I
Right.
was like, okay, I'm gonna try longboarding and kind of get into that. And as I started doing that, I felt kind of lonely because there just weren't any, well, there were some other girls I'd see around here and there doing it. And I just really wanted to find a way to kind of connect to them.
Hmm.
So through that, I made a blog called Boardettes. And it was kind of like a social media platform as well. And I started making some videos. And then from that, I just naturally, got to know more people in the longboard community and also in street skateboarding as well. And we made different events and kind of workshops for women to kind of introduce them into skateboarding, which was really cool. I wasn't teaching at the time because I didn't know what I was doing, but I was, employing people who did. And they were the amazing team of like skateboard instructors who were teaching, like, who were women teaching other women to skateboard, and it was just a really encouraging kind of supportive environment that we were trying to create.
Hmm.
And then I went to Brazil, and this is really, I guess, the start of the video that's just been released in this moment. Was when I kind of went out to kind of research for a film I was planning to make for Boardettes, which is maybe a bit more documentary style. So then I started meeting girls out there who were like skateboarding. So I knew it was such a big scene out there. So I was
Mm.
really excited to meet them. And then I came across Guanabara Boards, and I messaged them, said, "Oh, hey, I'd love to come film you guys one day." And I went around to film them, but I got completely lost in the park, like, skating around on a little penny board, not having a clue. It was like my first day on a penny board, not having a clue what I was doing, completely lost in this park in Brazil. Managed to find someone to point my way towards them. And then as I was approaching them, there was like this little kind of slope, and I
Right.
saw them at the bottom, and I was like, oh, yes, there they are, really excited. So then I jumped on my penny board and I started going down this hill, and I wasn't very experienced at the time at all. So the board started shaking beneath my feet, and I was like, oh my
God.
God, what am I going to do here? Am I going to like fall off? Am I going to try and jump off? Am I just going to keep going and see what happens? And then I decided to try and jump off. So I tried to jump off. I lost my footing, and then I went my face on the concrete, smashed.
Ouch. Right in front
Yeah.
of your future husband?
Yes. That's
So
it,
you
exactly.
literally fell in love.
It literally, yeah, head over heels, almost.
Wow.
I literally was lying on the concrete, my face swelling like double the size, and then I was like, "Oh, hi, Alex,"
Oh
and
my
him
God.
like with a face of fear, like, "Oh my goodness, what's this girl done to herself?"
So remind us who Guanabara Board is.
So
Guanabara, sorry.
Guanabara, yeah,
Guanabara.
sorry, yeah.
Remind us who they are.
Um, So they're basically a skateboard collective. So they're a group of skaters, group of friends who like skate together and like make really cool videos about what they do. And also run a skateboard school as well. So teach beginners, mainly specializing in adults, how to
Mhm.
skateboard
But they
and
were
on a
specialized in
longboard.
skateboarding first, right? Not much of longboard dancing, or were they doing it
Okay,
already?
no, they're already doing longboard dancing. So basically, when I say skateboard, I mean like every variation of skateboard, whether it's a longboard or a shortboard or a
Yeah.
cruiser board or a downhill board. It's a skateboard.
Hmm.
So like, and all the tricks connect to each other, all the movements, all the maneuvers, all connect to each other. But yeah, they are mainly focused on longboarding as a practice, because it was really about kind of the introducing this new trend that was really coming up back then. It was 2010 when they started, about really longboard dancing and being kind of a part of that global movement that it was in the beginning, and kind of creating a style around it as well. Yeah, so that was why they really attracted me. So I did manage to film them eventually after my face went down, and then romance blossomed with Alex, and I found myself going back to Brazil a few months later to live there,
Oh my God,
basically.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
So just
Mhm.
your life outside longboarding, obviously, because we're jumped right into filming and shooting, but I think most people don't know you're a photographer and you're also a filmmaker by yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've been a photographer for maybe like 13 years, around that. I'm also a
Oh,
journalist, so I write articles, and I was doing like a few kind of blogs and stuff like that, and a few articles for different magazines before I went to Brazil, like kind of like skateboard magazines too, like Huck magazine and that kind of thing. And then when I went out to Brazil, I carried on working for them a little bit, and I also worked for Lonely Planet as well, doing photography and writing for them, like travel journalism, which was really incredible and a really great way for me to get to know Brazil and you know, in another kind of a deeper level and understand all the different like hotspots and things like that.
yeah. And now you're like fluent in Brazilian Portuguese and you're basically a
Yeah.
local.
Yeah, I try. I still have like a cute accent apparently, but
Uh,
it's all
and
right.
so you joined then the school Guanabara, right? So obviously you're freelancing photographer, journalist, movie maker, but then you're also working at the school, either it is in Brazil or in London, right?
Yeah. Are you talking about right now?
Hmm.
Yeah, at this moment, yeah. So we're still running the school over in Brazil, and we're
Hmm.
doing that remotely, apart from when we're there physically.
Yeah.
And yeah, we also launched the school in the UK here last year as well to teach longboarding, focusing again on adults in London, which, which has been, you know, really amazing. But, you know, with the pandemic, it's a bit, you know, up and down. So, you know, we're
Yeah, of
just,
course.
but I think there's a lot of want for that kind of thing now because people, you know, there's not much they can do in terms of exercise. And I think, you know, like the appeal of longboarding is it's such a freeing kind of activity to do. It's so liberating. And then
Yeah,
people, you know, they
absolutely.
get out of the house and, you know, get some fresh
Yeah.
air.
Yeah, and I think the discipline through people like Lotfi, through you, through a lot of longboarders is being really democratized nowadays. More and more people know what longboard dancing is and are attracted
Yeah.
to it, which is really cool. So
Hmm.
obviously there should be more and more students coming and
Yeah.
joining.
I hope so. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's it. We've always had like the purpose of wanting to inspire people through the videos that we make as well. And like the things that we do as a collective to
Mhm.
inspire more people to come into longboarding, to make it a really inclusive sport as much as possible. So no matter what age you are, what gender you are, what lifestyle you already had, that
Yeah.
you can learn to longboard, whatever. And I think that's it because it's such a joyful activity, you know, and it brings so much to your
Absolutely.
life.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
it. We just really want to be, we're really passionate about sharing that with people.
And what would you say is your main thing about longboarding? What does it mean to you?
I think when I'm longboarding, it's when I feel most kind of connected with myself.
Mhm.
I feel like it's so freeing and I don't know, you just put on your favorite music and it's really kind of meditative, you know, you can get really into the zone and like just like feeling the movements and things like that. And it's just such an amazing sensual feeling as well because, you know, you've got the vibration of the ground and the wind in your hair and it's
Yeah.
just such something really special and it's brought so many amazing people to my life. You know, it's brought me my family. You know, I met my husband, I have children now, and you know, we go longboarding together. And you know, I've got so many friends from it, and it's just it's a huge part of my life, definitely.
Yeah. And so obviously Brazil, how did it go for you there? Like, is there a big community of longboarders there?
Yeah, it's massive. It's really massive, and like there's such a high level of ability there. It's incredible. It really is. And you know, people are really like fun and really open. I think, you know, I think the longboarding community across the board is generally like a really kind of chilled out, like easygoing kind of
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
most in
Yes,
most
true.
aspects. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely has that feeling and it's just really inspirational, you know, the amount of like skill and ability that's out there in Brazil. And,
Oh
you know,
my
you find
God.
that
I
in
mean, that was my first thing when I watched the movie. I was so impressed by it's
mm,
not just the level, but it's also the creativity of the combos, of the lines. Like
mm,
there are things there. I had to watch it 5-6 times, because there were things I had never seen before done on a longboard, and I was so impressed by the level of these women. It was just an amazing movie, really. And so let's talk about it a little bit.
Yay!
Tell me, what was your first inspiration? When was born the idea of making that movie?
I think I'd lived in Brazil for quite a while, and I had already had this focus, obviously, on filming women in skateboarding and longboarding and that kind of thing. So I already had that. And then, I'd skateboarded with the girls for like a good 3 years, something like this. We'd always been training together and like learning new things and learning things off of each other. It's really like a supportive kind of place, go every day or every weekend to meet each other and, really enjoy that. And I think something that really like touched me about Brazil was that it's a really amazing country and very creative, and there's so many positive aspects about it. But something that I found, there's a positive and a negative side of being a woman in Brazil. And, the positive side is that either, people are very accepting of all different kinds of women. And, a lot of my friends who came really felt like they built their confidence up being in Brazil. And then there's a kind of a more uglier side of it, where it's a lot of attention is just put on how a woman looks.
Oh, really?
And, it was, and it's really about, physical appearance. And that's, very much how you're kind of judged of your worth. And, this is something that it was very hard to kind of deal with living there, as being someone who's very kind of a feminist. And what I really wanted to do with this film was to show something, because one of the reasons as well that I got into Boardettes, into like this kind of thing as well, was to change the conversation about the representation of women in board sports. Because, you see it's a bit better now, things are changing in society as a general. But at the time, when I started, it was very much, a girl in her bikini showing her butt riding on a surfboard or a skateboard, and that was pretty much what you related to when you searched that in Google. And for me, this film was very much about really trying to change that conversation and, take the attention away from the beauty, the physical beauty of the women. They're all beautiful, but taking that attention away and turning that on, no, but look what these girls can do, what these girls are creating, what they're doing on their board is beautiful, and they're the creators of beauty rather than being like the subjects of it.
Yeah. And that movie is really beautifully shot. So you worked with an absolute pro in the world of skateboard movies.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So you work with Brett Novak. How did you know him? Did you just like send him an email like, hey, you want to come to Brazil and shoot? Like, how did it work?
I think I'd had some kind of minimal contact with him before, because I'd, tried to get a few like interviews for magazines and stuff like that sorted out, but nothing ever really kind of panned out because of timing and things like that. So I had a little contact with him before. But for me, like, Brett Novak's films was one of the reasons that I really got interested in filming skateboarding and even actually skateboarding myself. Like his really the way he shoots is just so poetic, and so like it just changes the way you see skateboarding. And I think he does it in a way that really you can like understand even if you're not a skateboarder.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's something that I felt was really important about this film as well, because although, we are skateboarders and we hang around with skateboarders and things like this, we didn't want to make a film that was just for skateboarders. I wanted to make a film that would like inspire other people who maybe never have skateboarded or never thought about skateboarding to, maybe, be interested in it or give it a try.
Yeah.
And I felt like Brett Novak, with all his artistic ability and, he would be an amazing like person to make this film. It was kind of almost like a dream. But then we're like, well, let's email him and see, tell him about the project and see if he's interested in joining us on it.
Amazing. He was like, of course I'll come to Brazil.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Come to Brazil and film like, oh
my God. I mean, obviously, this movie to me is almost like a come to Brazil tourism ad in a way. Like I saw Rio, I was like, oh, I just want to go so bad. Looked amazing. What was the highlight of that shooting for you? Like, what was the best part of it?
Oh my goodness, that's such a hard question. I think one of the highlights will probably have been like when we were filming in a carnival, And though that's not actually the part of the video that you see us in it a lot, because really that was just about, you know, showing the essence of Brazil. And I think, and that like those carnival scenes are from like a bloco called Orchestra Voador, which is the flying orchestra, and they're an extremely artistic kind of party in within carnival. They kind of make their own parties, and you know, you go to different ones, and there's this very like artistic one, and just being there, like they let us go in the middle and in like the parade, and there's like millions of people around, you know, and like having that experience with Brett there filming, you know, trying to like having like our friends around trying to protect him from like anyone bumping in, you know, not getting hit by stilts and stuff like that. That was a really, really fun experience, a really fun part of it. And then I just think the general vibe of the whole 10 days we spent shooting was absolutely incredible. You know, we had like all like a lot of our friends around supporting us as part of the production team, you know, our kind of collective were there, and it was just such an amazing like amount of energy that went into making this film that is, you know, a part of why it's so beautiful, because I feel like, you know, like Brett really picks up on that, and he made some great connections with us and with other people in Brazil and with the country itself, that, you know, you can feel that in the film.
Absolutely, I totally agree. You can see there's also so much love for Brazil. Like there are so many lovely places that are not famous spots, you know, that you could have gone to Ipanema and just like the very famous spots in Rio, but no, you chose other spots that show a very different vision of it, but it's just beautiful, really, really beautifully made. And one thing that was really surprising to me when I was reading the information you sent me about the movie was you were pregnant.
Yeah,
that is absolutely nuts.
It was
Getting pregnant. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was insane. You know, we'd done all this planning for the video and like made everything happen and everything work. Everything was ready, you know, like Brett was there. Everyone was like, there were like, I don't know, 10 to 15 people sleeping in our house, like ready to like get the film done. And then, you know, I found out I was pregnant like a day before the shooting began.
No way.
Like, how do I process this, you know? Now like it was insane, but you know, we did it. And then, you know, I had my time to really focus on the film, and obviously like take a bit more care in how I was skateboarding too. It definitely made another level of pressure in skateboarding, because generally, you know, if someone, for me anyway, I'm like pretty rubbish at being filmed. When as soon as the camera comes out, then that's when I can't do any tricks and I fall off, you know. I'm not like the best at that. That's probably because I'm a filmmaker, like, rather than like always being behind it. But yeah, so that kind of added an extra level of like, you know, pressure, like, you know, you've got to get this right. I can't fall, like, you know, I have to be really careful with my body and pay attention to what I'm doing. But yeah, it was amazing. And I love looking back at the film and seeing those moments, and, you know, thinking that my son was with me, you know, was in my tummy while I was doing all these amazing things, and watching it back with him and saying, oh look, that's you're in mommy's tummy.
Oh my god. Is he, have you already tried to put him on a skateboard? Is he too little?
No, we try, definitely. Yeah, he's getting there little by little. We're trying to like encourage him, you know, to like skateboard and be a little skateboarder as soon as we can make that happen. Definitely.
Oh my god. And so what are the next steps for you guys, like in terms of what are your plans? Are you gonna make other movies? Are you thinking to make a movie about London as well?
Definitely. I think next year, quite possibly, we'll be making another film. Where that will be is still kind of, we'll see. It depends on how the world is. You know, it might be that we don't have any other choice but film in England. But I would like to also make a film, because there's so many beautiful places in England, in London, to show as well. The only problem is the weather, you know. So we'll see about that. We've got a lot of like creative ideas of, you know, new movies we can make and different locations we could use, or different, you know, creative projects that we could kind of like launch off after this video.
Yeah, I mean, it was such an incredible video that I really hope you're making some more. I mean, if that's like the tone. I mean, that's high expectations for the next one, though.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was so good that I'm already looking forward to the next one.
Oh, amazing. I won't disappoint.
I'm sure you won't. Well, thank you very much for speaking to me today. That was really cool.
Oh, thank
Hopefully,
you.
I'll see you soon in London.
Yes, definitely. And we'll go skateboarding together.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be really cool.
Yeah.